Hello again, back with I think it's segment 3, which is the first part of whipping the bungee cord. So what I've done is I've cut about 25 feet of nylon flat stitching, rib stitching. This is what's used on the wings. You can use either nylon waxed or you can use polyester, but I've done some tests between polyester and nylon, and I feel more comfortable with the nylon because of the heavy wax in it. It tends to hold together when the bungee is cut. When the string is cut, it tends to hold together better than the polyester. So I'm just going to stick with what I know and what works, and that's what I've got. So what I've done is I've wound it all up nice and neat, flat to flat, keeping it so it's not all twisted. It makes for a nicer tie if you use, try to keep it as flat as possible. So basically, with this like this, I will kind of use the wax to kind of keep it stuck together, and it makes for like a thimble that I can pass through now for tying. So the first part of what I'm going to do is make my first knot. What I'm going to do is it's basically going to be several twists. I'm sorry. Let's see, let's back up here. This got to be, we need a long leader on this, about 10 to 12 inches. So I'm going to make several twists here. Maybe 3 or 4. Run that through. What I like to do is have all my twists on the bottom of the bungee. And then what I'm doing, I'm going to measure that to make sure that that's an inch and a half from center from the stud. I've also got a mark in the fixture too, that helps too. Okay, so I'll go ahead and pull that tight. Run it to the top. Run this through twice. And I'm not making this especially tight because at the very beginning, the first quarter of an inch of all the segment of ties that I'm going to go, I don't want the bungee to be really tight at that entry point. So this is more of anchoring the line here. This is more about anchoring the line than anything else. So I'm going to do a double knot on top, and then I'm going to leave that leader hanging. And when I'm finished, I'll wrap it all the way down one end, wrap it back, and when I wrap it back, I'll use this leader to make a full connection. So we're just going to set that aside for now. So now what I do is I make a half hitch. And another half hitch. And another one, and another one, and another one. Over and over and over again. And again, at the beginning of the bungee, the first quarter of an inch or so, I don't want it especially tight. Looks like I'm really getting hung up here on this safety wire. Something else I didn't say in the other videos that I need to make sure is clear. Before you start handling the bungee cord or stretching it for the setup, and especially the tying right here, you want to keep your hands nice and clean, because every time you touch the bungee, the oils from your hands get on it, and it'll make it a mess when you're done. It won't look so good, especially this wax string, because it's in some ways you could say it's sticky. And boy, if you have any dirt or anything on your hands, it comes off on this wax string, and then you're done, because it's white when it's done. It looks kind of icky and grungy. So I wash my hands periodically. When I'm done stretching the bungee and doing that, I go and wash my hands. And then what I'll do when I'm done with this, I'll wash them again after the wax string, because the wax gets on your hands, and then you tend to spread it around on other things, including I'll use I'll use the silicone safety tape to finish the ends of the bungee, and it doesn't like to have wax on it. It doesn't stick. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do if you have wax on your hands. So good idea, good shot practice to keep your hands clean. Okay, so I've made about 5 or 6, maybe 60-70% tight half hitches in this. And then what I'll go, now I'm about a quarter of an inch, so I'm going to go ahead and start cinching them down nice and tight now, and then keeping my flat part of my string as flat as possible without, killing yourself. So now I'm right about full strength, as much as almost as much as I can pull on this. So you can see, just a matter of making quite a few half hitches. I suppose when I'm done I'll have probably 200 half hitches. Okay, so that gets you the idea of what I'm up to. I'll show you a finished product. Let's set this aside. So this is a finished product. I'll come back, I'll do another video on finishing this up, but basically you run the half inches down and you can see where it's a little wider here. Then it gets narrow, and that's the real full tight ones. And then just a little bit wider at the very end. Again, not have the bungee super tight here and super tight here. All the strength is right in the middle. Anyways, so I'll do another video at the end where basically I cut to this end here, and then I run back again more half inches across, only they're spaced about 1/8 of an inch apart till you get back to the end here. And then there's a finish knot that I do, and then I pull it through the inside of it so it's nice and clean when it's done. As you can see, you can't see where the knot finishes here because it's nice and clean, so I'll come back to that. So in about a half hour I'll get all the other half hitches done in this, and then I'll do a finished video. Okay, that's it.